right, welcome back from spring break. I hope you guys are all revved up and ready to go. Do you realize I counted? We only actually have 6.5 weeks of school left. So lots to learn, lots to do. Today you're going to be learning about diagramming prepositional phrases. So you're going to be making, I started with a joke. Will work as food. Due to his grammar mistake, Wilbur found a position. It just wasn't the one he wanted. Please don't use the wrong prepositional phrase. It can be painful. Moving right along. All right, you're going to be making a two-flap foldable. Fold it like a book. Write prepositional phrases. Across the top flap, write adjective phrase, modifies a noun. Across the bottom flap, write adverb phrase. They modify a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. They also modify another prepositional phrase if you want to put that down. When you've got this made, you'll be ready to click off pause and start taking your notes. All right, riddle of the day, what has to be broken before you can use it? I'm sure some of you will figure that out, and some of you will Google it, which is cheating, I would like to point out. You don't have to write any of this down. Just remember that with your prepositional phrases, you can have adjective I can't speak today, adjective or adverb phrases. An adjective phrase modifies a noun. It can tell what kind, how many, or which one, but you really don't want to think about it that way. What you want to do is you want to find the word in the sentence that it modifies. And if it's a noun, you know it's an adjective phrase. If it's anything but a noun, it's an adverb phrase. So that's really just the only tricky part, is figuring out the word it modifies. It's like a puzzle, and you guys are all very capable of doing that. So now you have to start writing stuff down. Oh, wait, not yet. Do you have to? Not yet. When diagramming sentences, the prepositional phrase is written below the word it modifies. So you can see right here, if it modifies the subject, which would be a noun, it would be an adjective phrase. If it modifies the verb, which is the verb, which is the verb, which it would be the adverb phrase. All right, didn't have to write any of that down. This you have to write down. So open up your adjective flap, which should be your top flap. And on the left side, you're going to fit both of these diagrams. This is what it looks like, just generically, subject, verb. The preposition. Now notice that there's this little line extending. You do need to have that. That little line is there to show you it's not an indirect object, but a prepositional phrase. So please make sure that you extend the line, and then you put the object of the preposition here. Obviously, any modifiers for the object of the preposition would go off that line. So the way it would look is if you had the bluebirds in the trees were chirping. We've got birds were chirping. There's your verb phrase. The and blue modify verbs. And in the trees tells you which verbs it was. So in the trees actually go with birds. And notice I've got in, which is my preposition, trees, which is the object of my preposition, and the. So both of these examples should be on the left side of that flap. Got it? Good. So you can try diagramming these two sentences on a piece of scrap paper. Both contain adjective phrases. That means they are going to modify a noun, and the answers are on the next slide. In both of these sentences, there is only one prepositional phrase. So pause and try these, and I'll show you the answer key in a minute. All right, this is what it should look like. The bridge over the river. Now notice that over the river modifies bridge. Over is your preposition. River is your object of the preposition. The modifies river. Often is your adverb modifying needs. Some repairs, some modifies repairs. Or you could have the students at my school won. You've got students. At my school modifies students. It tells us which students they were. Notice at is your object. School is your, at is your preposition. School is the object of the preposition. My is your modifier. The should actually be over here. Sorry about that, my mistake. And one. Choose one of these two to copy into your notes on the right-hand side of the flap, or on the right-hand side of your adjective phrase. When you're done with that, you can hit play, and we'll talk about adverb phrases, because I know this is really exciting stuff. All right, here are some examples of what an adverb phrase looks like. Please copy both. Open your adverb phrase flap. Please copy these both on the left-hand side of that flap. You have your subject, your verb, and then it looks the same exact way, except for it goes under the verb. Pretty easy, right? So example, the farmer worked in the fields. In the fields modifies worked. It tells us where the farmer worked. So I've got the modifying farmer, worked. In is your preposition. Fields is the object of the preposition, and the modifies fields. Both of these should be on the left-hand side of your flap. All right, try these on a piece of scrap paper. Both contain one adverb phrase. The answers are on the next slide. But try them first. Don't cheat. Come on, be good. All right, he fell from the bridge. He is our subject. Fell is our verb. Where did he fall from? From the bridge, so from the ledge modifies fell. From is your preposition. Notice it extends past to make sure it's not the indirect object. Ledge is your object of your preposition. The modifies ledge. The librarian found $1 in the book, or in a book. In a book modifies where she found it. So we've got the modifying librarian. We've got found, which is our verb. And then in a book, in is our preposition. A is modifying book. Book is the object of the preposition. And $1 is your direct object. Please choose one of these to write on the right-handed side of the flap in your notes. All right, so your note should look like this. All right, your generic example, your real example, your generic example, your real example. You might have different examples over here, and that is perfectly okay, as long as you have examples from the notes. Great. Notice I forgot to actually put parentheses around my prepositional phrases down here. Oops. All right. And here's some practice. The hardest part is figuring out which preposition or which word the prepositional phrase modifies. So try these, see if you can find any mistakes. The answers are on the next slide. The dog ran across the road. Was that sandwich for me? The bird in the cage is owned by Mrs. Clark. Ooh, by Mrs. Clark. There's two in that one. Ooh. And Lena dove quickly into the swimming pool. Try it. Pause. And here we go. Dog and ran is our simple sentence. The modifies dog. Across the yard modifies where the dog ran. Across is your prepositional phrase. Yard is your object, and the modifies yard. Was that sandwich for me? That, which should not be capitalized, there's my first mistake, sandwich, was, and then for me modifies was. Who was it for? It was for me. Notice it's just a preposition and an object, no modifiers. The bird in the cage is owned by Mrs. Clark. The bird in the cage modifies bird, is owned. That is our verb phrase, by Mrs. Clark, no modifiers. And Lena dove quickly is just your adverb into the swimming pool. We have two modifiers for pool, the and swimming. Hope you did well. Can a prepositional phrase modify a prepositional phrase? Yes, it can. We have talked about it in class. I don't expect you to learn that today, but this is what it looks like. All right, and if it modifies a prepositional phrase, it is an adverb phrase, but we'll worry about that tomorrow. We'll practice a little bit. Have a great night. I will see you in class tomorrow.